One of the biggest rules that people don't mention in Pokemon card collecting is if you don't know what you're buying, you're just following people. And that's how people lose money in Pokemon cards. People react, people follow, people panic, people obsess. And when enough people do the same thing, everything moves. And that's how most people buy Pokemon cards. So tonight, I'm going to give you a step-by-step decision-making system on exactly what cards to get, and to show you exactly how I think about Pokemon cards using a food chart. And by the end of this, you should know what a card actually is, why it sits there, and how much of your money it deserves. And before we get started, there's one rule you gotta understand. Just like on Animal Farm, not all Pokemon were born equal. Tier 1s are your university-loved Pokemon, even the general public would know these. Tier 2 are popular Pokemon that mostly Pokemon fans know. And Tier 3 is basically everything else. Even some Pokemon fans might not know them. Because once you understand this, the whole food chart will start making sense. Let's start with Carbs. Carbs is most cards. Easy to move because they're cheap.
This is your Tier 3 Pokemon IR zone, sub $20 stuff. Nice to have, easy to pick up, easy to let go. And that's fine because not every card needs to be a life-changing investment.
Get whatever you like. Some people eat more rice, some eat more pasta. Just don't expect much from it.
This is not where the magic usually happens.
Because if you eat too much carbs, you might get diabetes. And that's the point. Too much of your collection sitting here is not good.
The biggest mistake people make here is assuming you can have a fully carb diet. And that's why their collection never grows. It's just cash being parked in a dead zone. Fun zone, yes. Growth zone, not really.
And then we have your vegetables, because that's where potential starts. These are cards, not the biggest cards in the hobby, but they can definitely grow. Cleffa and Ninetales from Obsidian Flames, Helix from Paradox Rift, Rotom SIR. These are cards with appeal. They've got a reason and they've got something going on for them.
And this is where you're not buying popularity yet. You're buying a reason.
But they're not usually attached to the most popular Pokemon. That's Veggies. So guys, always remember to eat your veggies. They're good for you. Well, if you can get them cheap enough. Now, meat. This is your call. These are the cards people actually want. Not nice for the price, I mean actual demand. Like Eevee from Twilight Masquerade, Mega Kangaskhan from ME1, Ghastly from Temporal Forces, Drowsy from SB Base. And this is where desire becomes obvious.
You don't need to convince people why these cards matter. They've already got it.
Because a lot of times, meat has more room to grow than veggies. The demand is simply just stronger. If you're building properly, this is where most of your money should sit. Because this is the category that actually feeds your collection.
This is the part of the basket that gives the whole collection strength.
And then you have your sweets. Sweets is where emotion takes over. These are the cards people see and immediately want. Venusaur and Blastoise SIR, Gengar from Gem Pack Volume 3, Milotic and Latias from Surging Sparks. This is where the hype gets loud. This is where people stop being disciplined. This is also where people overspend because the card is beautiful and everybody else wants it. Of course, with the prices, it gets harder to move. But hey, who doesn't like dessert? Dessert is great, but simply living on dessert is not.
Great card, wrong price. That's usually how dessert hurts you.
And then at the very top lies your premium seafood. These are not just expensive, they're the cards everybody knows. That's the difference. This is premium. This is your lobsters, your caviars, your abalone. This is the very, very top of the food chain. These are the cards where everything comes together. Top Pokemon, top art, real rarity, and real recognition.
They have gravity. Even when the hype goes quiet, people still look.
Now obviously, these are examples. And examples only get you so far. So before deciding what card I want to get, I usually go it by a system that I've kind of devised myself. I call it the STAR system. STAR. Star power, title, art, and rarity.
Star power is simple. How strong is the Pokemon? And I do not mean that in battle. I mean in the market. Does this Pokemon have fans even when the card is not hyped? Because if the Pokemon is weak, the rest of the card has to work much harder. Then title. And by title, I mean recognition. Any card that has a nickname and reputation, a known identity, well, because once people know what to call it, they know what to chase. Like Bubble Mew, Sunbreon, Sunzad, Balloon Gengar, Van Gogh Pikachu, Mewtwo. Cards with nicknames are commonly Grails. And then art. Does it actually hit? Is it actually beautiful? Does the card stop people from scrolling? And of course we have Rarity. And this one matters a lot. Because Rarity is not just, is this card rare? It's three things: pull rates, gem rates, and whether it's a promo card. Pull rates are obvious. How hard is it to hit? Because if everybody can pull it, that changes the ceiling. Then we have gem rates. How easy is it to gem? Because some cards are hard enough to pull and then still harder to get in the 10. A card can be rare to pull but not rare to own in the 10. And then promos. Because promos are weird. Some promos are everywhere and some promos are secretly monsters. Like Detective Pikachu. A promo is not just about supply. It's about where it came from, who received it, and whether people actually remember it. That's Rarity.
And the more of these a card hits, the higher it goes up the food chart. And that's the system.
You're building a proper diet. You don't need every card to win. You just need the whole shopping cart to make sense.
So how would I actually spend $1,000? No abalone? First, I'm taking a big swing. $500 on the Mega Charizard from Phantasmal Flames. Because I love the art and I love the risk. Then I want something sweeter, so I'm adding Mega Lucario for $160 and I'll add the Mew EX for $100. And after that, I want some proper meat. So I'll add some Ghastly from Temporal Forces for $55 and maybe a Tyranitar for $65. Now I have my core, I want some veggies. I want some Cleffa for $25, Ninetales for $28, and some Fruit Eevee for $25. And then with the last $22, this is where I'll buy some random cards, like class stuff like Pidgey from Obsidian Flames and Wigglytuff from Phantasmal Flames. Because not every purchase has to be part of some master plan, and some of it can just be for joy. So let's practice. So I want you guys watching this to tell me how you would spend $1,000 if you were to start the hobby today. What would be your big swing? What would be your meat? And what would be your veggies? Because if you can answer this properly, you probably understand the hobby more than a lot of people. So learn the chart, know what you're buying, spend properly, and the most important thing, buy what you love. I'll see you in the next one. Stay shiny.